Hello and welcome to the Magic of Boots World Cup coverage. Today, this is Ronnie. I have Shudipta waking up very early. That's gracious of you. How are you doing?
I'm a little bit sleepy,
Fair enough.
as you can see from my eyes,
Fair
probably.
enough. I tried to watch one of the 2 a.m. games in my time, so I slept at 7:30, wake up at 1:30, and then tried to sleep after 4. Couldn't sleep anyway. So yeah, I can feel you.
Yeah, normally I sleep at like 8, 9 p.m. But yesterday there was an interesting game going on, France versus Australia. I wanted to see like how they're doing this. So, but why I was waking up basically because like it was probably one of the game of this century or surprise of this century.
Surprise of the century. So there we are beating Argentina.
Yeah, of
Nobody kind of
course.
saw that. Um, so yeah, let's. I did a little bit of preview about for 5 minutes
Yeah, I
of,
saw that actually.
and I thought it is interesting how they would line up. I knew they would line up in 4-4-2, but we'll, um, why don't I jump into it and then we can talk about a little bit.
Yeah,
Let me share the screen. I don't know if you can see it.
it's still loading.
Yeah, let me know when you can see.
Yeah, it came.
Okay,
It's
so this was the this was the setup I talked about. Um, but I thought they would probably do a low block like that line and that line would be low block. What they've done is basically in 4-4-2 normally you allow these kind of areas to your opponents to go wide, this kind of areas, and you sorry and you leave your team compact in the middle normally. So what Harvey Rayner did, if I'm getting his name right, he did push this thing up, and he knew that Argentina is a build up build up team. So he literally put that um, push it up right there almost. So that was causing a lot of offside, especially Di Maria and Messi are
10
two.
offsides so far.
Yeah, it's more than the entire 2018 World Cup offside created for Argentina. So, and also there were some very marginal ones like Lautaro. One was Ray. Second goal that was ruled off was very marginal, like his shirt. I'm not going to discuss on that. But what it did is what they were trying to do is that um, each fullback or wing back were taking on each white player. So they kind of zonally marked in middle, and whenever Papu was tucking inside for Tagliafico to overlap, one of the side midfielders were going along with this guy with this person. So they made sure that nobody was even getting any kind of space on the wing as well. So they're strangulating. So Messi um, tried to drop a little deep to create a bit of gap because he was man marked by one of the center back. Center back came on, but one of the midfielder dropped off to plug that gap. So that's how I saw them defending entirely solid. Sometime even they went back like this, and Argentina became stagnant in the midfield. Um, so Paredes sometime wanted to cover his left back was coming here, so it was almost DePaul and a block of Saudi Arabia players around there. So there was almost no midfield at all, and it was both of them were struggling to get any kind of thing. And in the second half, what Saudi Arabia also done is they've pushed it more up. So whatever time DePaul or Paredes was getting on the ball, they didn't get in second half at all. Whoever was that, they were not getting any kind of time and no space. It almost felt like one line between midfield and defense, but it was so aggressive. So there was no time, no space, and midfield was overrun. Um, and Argentina didn't have time to build anything, didn't have the space, less than 30, 40 yards, and could not beat the trap of offside as well. And there was a lot of space around these areas. They didn't actually had anyone quick to go through, or they needed someone like Firmino type of player who could flick the things for others. But there, whenever someone was making run, let's say Di Maria, he was being matched with the pace with in the wing back. So it was really tough for Argentina to find any kind of momentum, any kind of build up. There was nothing was building up there, and they were pressured so high up, they were losing balls, and Saudi Arabia had three shots on the goal, and that was, I think, two of them was in. And the other part was Romero, Paredes, Di Maria were coming from injuries, and they looked a little rusty, especially Romero. The first goal was his fault, and they didn't have any clue. Papu Gomez was totally out of the game, and there was almost no midfield. They could not connect. In the first half, there was certain whenever they were trying to beat the offside trap, they could not combine well as well. And it was Saudi Arabia's aggression made them a little bit passive again. And Saudi Arabia just took their chances and defended, I think, brilliantly. It was like a modern highline catenaccio. They didn't allow any on this line. Nobody went in, and the discipline they've shown on the offside trap was brilliant. And whenever they were getting the ball, um, whenever they're getting the ball, sorry, um, it was brilliant to watch. They were making runs, occasionally. And it was hard for Argentina to cope up with. I thought if they had have started with someone like Martinez, who was not injured and playing well and had a little bit of aggression, he could have helped Paredes to come out here and started the gameplay. And then at least in midfield they would have had some sort of cover. I think that was missed, as well as there's no like I think Julian Alvarez should have started at least in the second half from start. He was the only one who could have made a run, and Lautaro could have been the guy who could have flicked on the back, and there was enough spaces to use that pace, or you could argue they don't have any kind of pacey wingers such as Garnacho or say Boca Juniors, Zeballos, very young kids, but they don't have anyone really fast. And whatever pacey Di Maria was, he was getting confronted by this left wing back, and Molina was covered by this winger sort of player. So they have really made it really, really difficult for Argentina to pass it around, and there was no circuit of passes on this area. So Messi was taken out of the game. So is Papu Gomez, because there was no line to play in between. So Papu Gomez's idea was to play in between lines. There was no line basically. It was on one line, and then it was so compact and so aggressive. They lost every second ball. They lost a lot of first ball. Um, Lost a lot of passes. It was so bad in terms of passing from Argentina. There was no plan B at all, and I could not believe that they could not play the ball over the head, and someone could not make that timing on the run. Um, that's the biggest worry. They've tried in the second half. They've tried to put some diagonal ball to Di Maria, who hold it and beat the trap of offside. But by that point, at least there was two lines of Saudi Arabia defenders were already back, and whenever there was diagonal balls was put on the box, the players could not arrive because there was too much space. So yeah, that was most of what really happened.
Okay. So far, I remember like the similar technique Louis Van Gaal was using. Um, Actually, like he used it so many times. This maneuver, like when you were facing some team that better than your team, in sort of like position and stuff like that. He used to do that actually. Like he always try to
Yeah,
block the wings.
yeah.
It's sort of like a zonal marking, but it's like he had like at least he would have solved it like in like two three solutions like that. But this is brilliant, of course.
Yeah,
Um,
you have two or three options. One is coming long ball from back or diagonal ball from the back to put
yeah,
it.
sometimes like yeah, he was creating like a 5-4-1 sort of situation and 4-4-2. Why I can understand that like why he went to 4-4-2 sort of thing because
But at time
so
it was
far
becoming like with the wing backs running back, it was becoming like 6-2, and these guys were covering these spaces. So it was it was brilliant. I mean, it was especially in the middle blocks. It was zonal. On the wing, it was man to man, and they were taking it on. Uh, and also Messi was man marked. The only exception in the middle
uh,
is Messi.
it doesn't yeah it doesn't need it to be sort of like zonal when once you have like a high defensive line and like congested midfield because like it's already like what Van Gaal was doing is that like sometimes he just copy his opponent's formation, like the building formation. So so that like they would
Yeah,
have actually like how can I say like already sort of like in the 1v1 situations with players and if you saw like this Argentina team they got breather from either deep ball or sometimes from like their wing backs like Molina or Equinax or Tagliafico who just run around the defenses who just provide this width. And so far what we have seen from Argentina team, whoever playing in this left central midfielder, he sort of like sometimes becomes like a wide guy and act as a false winger or something like that. In
yeah,
even in
underlaps
their
and
four three
yeah,
three,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah,
So it sort of ultimately become 4-4-2, and that coach actually like he's genius. He understood
yeah,
this thing,
I
and
totally get it. And
but I
other
don't
part which I
understand.
liked about it is that because of such high line, his striker could press it so high, and there was no time on the ball. And I was a little bit surprised why Argentina could not bring Emi Martinez on the build up as a defender and could have moved. That's why it's
Uh,
important to have a
Actually, yeah,
left-footed center back on the left side.
that's why I told you like before the game, like before when we were
Yeah,
analyzing, like I would love to see Lisandro Martinez because of his aggression. He's like he always go to the defender, and when you are playing in the high defensive line, so like can you move the Otamendi a little bit up? uh, so like these sort of situations. So when you were even like fouling in like their striker or number 9 or number 10 in this sort of areas, he won't get card because like he's in the defensive zone, you know.
yeah,
So he could have actually one stopped the counter attacks immediately. Two, he actually neutralized this one side of the threat, and the other side, Otamendi would have been nice actually. And it's not his used position, but I have seen actually Christian Romero sometimes like when he is not fit, he is not actually like
yeah.
not in the game actually. And I did not actually understand so many things, like for example benching informed players for like other
The
players.
traditional pairs.
Yeah,
The other part I could not understand. I understood that Argentine, some of the players have superior technical ability, but doesn't have the speed anymore because of some aging players, right? What they could have done, Messi could have just flicked some of the balls behind, and I could understand one or two balls probably would have been blocked by some of the players, but that could release either Lautaro on this side or Di Maria on that side. Um, they have never tried putting a quick ball and someone tried to flick it over, like Firmino does for Liverpool.
actually Lisandro does that like from behind, like he sometimes put long balls towards the wingers or like towards the strikers directly.
And there was no
um
movement also. I mean, if uh, I was seeing this, high line, I would have asked probably one of their, whoever is a winger or playing, it could be Julian Alvarez, who played after second half, to make some
yeah,
diagonal runs. Because
yeah,
when you're making some
also.
diagonal runs, that confuses this back line.
Yeah, exactly. That is the thing Lo Celso was doing. Also, I think McAllister would have been a different used actually, but best best choice would be Enzo Fernandez because of the high press coming from Saudi Arabia side. And another thing, both of the attack were through the middle basically. There were actually two long balls, and there were like 2v2 situations between the center backs and both of the strikers actually. Like
Eh,
he played two strikers because of like specifically getting the numerical advantage on the center backs actually. So
Yes,
it would
but
have been
but
actually like,
but the second goal, if you look at the second goal, it was
yeah,
like Argentine 6 or 7 players were on the box and they could not clear it. It was like
yeah.
2 or 3 players.
I was surprised like when he when I saw that they like this guy shoot, but the goal was brilliant
Yeah,
actually.
it
It
was
was
one of the
um,
goal of this World Cup so
best,
far.
yeah, yeah, so far. Emi tried to put it out, but he could not even.
No,
What you said, like it was also interesting. Like Martinez was sort of like out of the game because like Argentine players were like passing around, but some he was not involved in the game like
no,
directly, you know.
no.
So
And because Emi Martinez is a very good passer of the ball, long ball passer. If you remember the second goal
yeah,
of versus Italy in the finalissima, he put the long ball out there,
yeah.
and
They
those
would have, yeah, they needed someone who can actually, Petzela can actually do that actually from passing from the back.
or someone can start putting some diagonal balls, and someone can make some diagonal runs that could put something off. But they were, I don't know. I think they were a little bit
But There were like,
bamboozled with the weather and the tactic and the aggression. They didn't expect it.
yeah, sort of like that, and that I can understand. Like, and I was sort of expecting that in like Mexico game probably, but did not expect it in this game. But um, what it's sort of like a reality check for them. And another thing, there were like three different tactics to get around this sort of like a high press or high line high press system. Like they can actually overload one side and then try to like release one of those wingers or someone like that. That is one. um, what we just mentioned, like playing long ball from the back. That's two. And there is another one, like it was this Unai Emery's approach. Actually, it was brilliant against Bayern Munich when their Bayern were sort of like creating same similar sort of situation. Like they were pressing high, they were getting the ball in this sort of area, like where you put Romero. um yeah, it was yeah, this sort of area. But when they were missing, they are regrouping like sort of like Saudi Arabia shape right now. And uh, what Villarreal was doing, like they were overloading the wings with like extra players sometimes, so that like the player should were out of shape, and then they're trying to switch and then
Yeah, can I
come
interrupt
again.
for a second?
Yeah.
Actually, uh, twice in the first half, they did something. I don't know why they did not do it. They needed someone to go up. Say for example, DePaul needed to go up and make that numerical superiority. He didn't do
Mm,
it. Romero tried once or twice, and he was back. And he played one ball. He should have shot it there. He had that shot. He
mm,
played the ball, but I thought, okay, they got the tactics now. Just overload one guy out of maybe defense, maybe from midfield. I mean, almost you need a Jude Bellingham sort of player who arrive
mm.
arrive from like arrive from deep. Didn't happen
Yeah.
with DePaul. So you
Yeah.
needed either one of your midfielders to go and run. Didn't happen, or they could have kept doing it with one of the defenders, which happened
That's
with
where
Prime Piquet.
McAllister, yeah, that's where McAllister comes actually. And also the defensive shape, like it was like 2-1 something like 2-1 3-2 or something like that actually. Like build up shape, it was not actually good. If you remember this Arsenal game, they were playing against Wolves, I guess. Like it was 70 or 80 minutes, like they first time, yeah, scored first time, and also are causing all sort of problems like this sort of this. And actually what Arteta did, he actually normally they are comfortable with like 2-3-5 build up system. And what Arteta did, he actually put like Ben White in front. Ben White was like overlapping on the one side, so like it was sometimes becoming like a sort of like a, and Ben White was their right back, and it was creating sort of like a 3v2 situation in the wing. So like obviously there were like at least two players were covering the wingers, um, and like one extra player was like taken out from the midfield. And sometimes when he was not actually, and they were trying to keep the shape actually, then they were actually like overloaded by the Arsenal players, and they finally they like broke the block from that side. So these are the things like you need to like do instantly. Otherwise otherwise like in the World Cup you are going to play at least like I don't know, like
I
these
think it's
different sort
a
of
it's a
teams,
little
different
careless.
continental. Yeah, it's a bit careless also. And I guess like some decision makings like always. I don't know, like for some reason
I
maybe
wouldn't
it's
have
too
put.
German of me. Like
Yeah, yeah.
um,
I wouldn't put
like
the players that are coming from injury. They
yeah,
looked
of course.
rusty.
Like they're not. Yeah, I can understand Papu Gomez's experience, but the thing is that like you need
The
a
inclusion
little
of
bit big.
Papu
Yeah.
makes it made it look like they have never actually read what Rene are going to do.
Also, they played like 7, 8. Um, how can I say friendly matches before that, so they have pretty deal.
Yeah, so Saudi Arabia
They're
took
really good in
one
football.
month off, and
Yeah,
they prepared for it.
yeah. So what a preparation and what a masterpiece actually.